Oof. I should make my bed. It is early in the morning, but oh my god. So this is a video I've wanted to record for a while because I do have a video about moving to Toronto, really just giving my opinion on the move from my perspective and a few others that I know. And people have reached out to me on Instagram with questions and follow-up things that they were wondering, which has been really good. Like, it's been nice to connect with people and to help. I thought, why not make a video with this extra information I've been repeating to other people, and hopefully it will help. Like, if you watch that video and then you watch this, you'll have more information about the move. So here are some frequently asked questions from the DMs.
We will not stop, we ain't letting go.
There's definitely a theme with the questions. It tends to be focused around jobs, accommodation, what else? Moving with a job or waiting till you get here. Accommodation, trying to find somewhere to live first or wait until you get here. It seems to be those are the themes around these questions, so let's get into it. Not a good angle. Oh yeah. Travel insurance, SIN number, general landing. How and when did I find out how long my visa would be valid for? By the way, I got my braces off, so yes, that has happened. So I got my insurance through Big Cat travel insurance, and I think I got maybe a level up from basic coverage, which cost me, let me get the actual documents. Okay, so I got the standard travel insurance, which has worldwide coverage, and I got it for the whole length of my visa, and it cost me £538.50. It was a special IEC insurance. Yes, so basically the IEC insurance covers you for the duration of your visa, so up to 2 years. There was winter sport included, baggage cover, and a few other things. I haven't claimed on it yet, but you can't get into the country without it if they choose to ask you for it. Oh, that leads nicely to another question, which was, how did you find out how long your IEC visa would be valid for? You don't find out until you land and you go to border patrol and you're at the immigration desk and they see all your documents and they issue your visa. The general rule of thumb is you will be granted however long you have your insurance for. Some people said they weren't asked for the insurance documents and some say they were, but if you're immigrating from the UK, you can have up to 2 years, so it's unlikely that they give you one unless they decided to check your documents and you only have 1 year of coverage. That's the rule anyway. But there's no reason why they would give you less than 1 year, because you come from a country that permits you 2 years, and the only reason why they wouldn't give you the full 2 years is because you're not covered, which could only be through insurance because it's an open work permit, so you don't have to have a job to go there. So don't skimp on the insurance. That also leads nicely into another question I got, which was getting your SIN number. Now, I know a few other people, they landed, they settled in, and within their first week they went down to the town hall and got their SIN. So once I went through Canada Border Services, there was a desk which is set up and run by Service Canada, which is the place you would have had to go to get it anyway, but it just so happened that they had a little desk at the airport after you left the border services. So I went to the little desk and I got my SIN number there and then, the day I landed at the airport, having just been issued my visa. I don't remember it taking very long, and you get a printed piece of paper with the temporary address, which mine was an Airbnb, and that was fine, date of birth and your new SIN number, which will start with 9 because you are on a particular visa type. So it begins with 9, which will be like a flag to banking and your employer that you are here on some sort of work permit, which they then should ask to see. So Sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do. But that's what the 9 means. I would also recommend that you sort out your bank account within the first week, now that you have your SIN number, and now that you have your SIN number and your visa, you can take that along with your passport. It should be attached to your visa to a bank, and you should specifically inquire about newcomer packages. From the top of my head, the places that offer these are RBC, Scotiabank, and TD. And that usually means you get a savings account, checkings account, and in some cases, if you're already working, a credit card, even though you won't really have any credit. Then I would say get yourself a rolling contract. Okay, so basically this is what I did. This was the phone I had in the UK on contract. I asked for it to be unlocked, and I brought this to Canada and got a SIM only rolling contract for say $40 a month. And then I took my old phone before my upgrade, and I put my UK SIM in this one, and I put the Canadian SIM in this one, which is now unlocked, right? And it basically saved me the cost of getting a new phone, and I was able to just keep my phone costs down because contracts can be expensive. You will see Virgin here, which is nice to know, well, nice to have something familiar, but that becomes like quite an expensive contract to have. Most of these big telecom brands such as Rogers and Bell will have like an offshoot brand like Chatter, Freedom, etc., which offers cheaper contracts. And I'm paying about $50 something for 13 gigs, unlimited text, worldwide text, data in the US, lots basically. Like, I have no complaints, except for when I go really far out in other parts of Ontario, I get no service. I will be having a conversation with them because I'm supposed to. Into the nitty gritty now. There were a lot of questions about jobs and apartments, and fair enough. People wanted to know if it was best to get a job before coming to Canada or wait until they got here to search. And there is no black and white answer to that. I will say personally, in my experience, most of the people that I know that had jobs upon landing here, they were transfers. So they had a job in the UK and transferred them to Toronto with like, we'll help you move and come and work in this office. So it's a very different journey to those that didn't move with the company. I don't know anyone else that had a job lined up that they weren't transferring with. I would say secondly that of those people that didn't, people found work within 3 weeks to 3 months to 6 months to 10 months. Like, it really is all subjective. And some of us did non-career jobs just to start us off, like waiting, bartending, retail, blah blah blah. You gotta do what you have to do. I did try and look before I got here. I had a specific industry, so I was looking maybe 3 months out, 4 months out, but now I know what I know. I would have started that process earlier if I really wanted to pursue having a job before getting here using that pathway. So I would have maybe done 5-6 months out, because in my industry I feel like the hiring is a lot slower. I'm not going to say that's for every industry, but for mine I think it was. And there was like more rounds of interviews, 3, 4, blah blah blah. So definitely I would have done that, because I applied for a job from home, I want to say in February, March. I landed in April and I got a call for interview June or July. So that gives you, this is nothing I'd applied for once I landed. This was all stuff I applied for before I left. Those they were okay, but they didn't yield anything. My biggest like where I found the most success was through networking in person and using your LinkedIn, your weak contacts, people, friends of friends of friends that maybe have some kind of connection to Toronto or a company. I had, luckily, this lady that I worked with in my last job, this is her hometown, and she had a few friends here, and it was just conversations, coffees, meetings, the whole summer networking, and that took some months to work out whilst I did a different job in between. I would also say that this is the kind of place that you can go and knock on the door of a company or call up, and you won't get the generic HR spiel, but like someone will be willing to talk to you and admire your initiative. So I feel like taking the chance and having more initiative works well here. In this environment, it works. So the bulk of the questions were about apartments. One of the questions was, do you recommend trying to get an apartment before I arrive to save time, money, stress? Where's the best place for me to settle? Okay, so kind of touched on this in my other video, which I'll put in the box. But I will say it depends what you want. Are you set on having your own space? Completely, you're unshakable, unmovable on that. This is what you gotta do. You are not getting out of that box. That's cool, but expect to spend maybe, I want to say 1,800 to 2,000 on your own apartment if you want to be downtown. If you don't mind living an hour away, 40 minutes on a good day, no, let's just say an hour away, then you could get that for 1,300 to 1,800. But that is still, don't convert this to pounds, just think of it in dollars. The average, if I was going to say average cost of a condo, just the whole space, not counting flatmates or whatever, I want to say 1,800 is very cheap to 2,500. Let's just be safe and add a little bit on top, right? Maybe pushing a little bit more depending like on the area you're at, and then you go down two ways with that if you want to have a flatmate. So if you think about that, and then on your own you want to spend 1,800 to 2,000 or 2,100, 200 for your own space, you can see that it falls on the higher end. I think having a flatmate is a great thing being new to a place, especially if you don't know anyone. You want someone to hang with in the winter, someone to talk to, and if it's just one other person and you have your own bathroom or whatever, it's quite nice to know that there's someone there, but not enough to crowd your space. As much as I would love my own place, it's worth it for me to have someone that I live with, someone that I get along with, someone I can hang out with, and that means I'm saving too, and I'm probably living in a place that I might not have been able to afford otherwise. I wouldn't say you have to visit before. It gives you a good idea of the layout, the different areas, blah blah blah, but because renting and those processes move so quickly, it's like it makes no sense trying to look for something before you come, because you need to be here in person, and that process can move quickly once you find something you like. Alternatively, you can meet someone. There's a Facebook group for a lot of Londoners or UK people moving to Canada, and you can buddy up in there. Someone might already be here. That's happened before, when someone was coming, someone was already here. They found the place for both of them and it worked out well. So I'm gonna put the link to that Facebook group in the box, and I'll also put the sites that I use and I like in order to search for places. So it's always good to browse those, and I'll also put the areas that I think are worth looking into. There's no point me going through them, and I'm not fancy enough to give you special effects and zoom in, zoom out when I say them, so I'm gonna write them down. And I just want to say thank you for watching this video. I hope it was really helpful. If not, ask the questions that you have below and I will try and address them. I will also link to some other videos I think might be helpful, and if you have any questions, as always, you can reach me on Instagram. I'll always put that below how you can do that. And yeah, see you next time.